Right. Right. And oh, at the same time. Morning, lovelies. Oh, no. I'm just clearing some space for the plumber. Plumber, my nose is a bit bunged. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, clearing some space because I've got the plumber coming this morning. I don't know exactly what time. I've been given a sort of a 1.5 hour window. So I'm just going to make sure I'm ready for the earliest bit of that window. I'm going to bring you in closer in a second and show you what I did to box in my pipes, because that I'll have to dismantle today to let him in. This blooming cold. Honestly, I've never had a cold like it in my life. It's foul and it's not going, it's not easing up, it's so annoying. And just to say, no, it's not flu and it's not COVID, both of which I have experienced. I had COVID 2 years ago. Trust me, this is nothing like COVID. COVID floored me. I was in bed solidly for 4 days and then mostly in bed for a further 4 days. Days 6, 7, 8, and 9. 5, 6, 7, and 8. I was getting up each day for like a couple of hours to just have a bowl of soup. But that was it, pretty much a couple of hours and back to bed. This is not COVID. COVID put me to bed for over a week, basically. And likewise, I've had the flu once in my life. And that was about 10 years ago. And yeah, I spent a week in bed. It was just awful. A further 2 weeks off work. I was off work for 3 weeks in the end. So no, it's neither. I think sometimes, and I've heard it a lot, I've seen it a lot, where people say, oh, I've got the flu. And I think, I don't really think you've got the flu. I think if you had the flu, you wouldn't be upright, you wouldn't be talking, you wouldn't be in the shops, you'd be on your back in bed. But I think it goes back to what I was saying a few days ago, how that you can have a cold, a really heavy cold, you can feel utterly wretched and wiped out, and you don't get any sympathy. You get no sympathy. People go, oh, shut up, it's just a cold. And that's why I'm saying we should give people a bit of sympathy when they've got a cold. And I think it's that lack of sympathy when you've just got a cold, it's just a cold. That lack of sympathy drives people to be a little bit more dramatic about it in order to elicit a little bit of comfort and sympathy. So I think that's why people say, oh, I've got the flu, it's terrible, when actually no, they don't have the flu. Anyway, I'm just going to get these bits and bobs, baskets and bits out of the way, bring you in. I'm just going to show you my little very simple thing I did to box in my pipes. Oh, and I've just thought, yeah, move my soap dish, my little soap dish. It's had a few accidents over the years. Don't you think you can see on the top there's that little chip. Can you see it? That I chipped it years and years ago, but fortunately I had the chip. It's got a soggy bottom. It's from this morning's wash. I saved the chip, glued it back on, fab. And then just recently, I did it again. I knocked it, I don't know how, I knocked it, same chip came off, fine, I'll glue it back on. Right, let's bring you in a bit closer. It's going to be filthy behind here. It's like, why would it be clean? Hang on, I'm just getting the other side off. There we go, and I can show you. Oh, it's a bit dusty. Gosh, it's very dusty. Obviously, I never get under there. There's a couple of dribbles, but literally all the boxing is it's a bit of spare MDF. This I went skip diving for, so I didn't even pay for the MDF. And then there was a little bit of leftover skirting board. As you can see, it's just ever so slightly shaped because this meets the skirting board going that way, so it's a nice snug fit. And the skirting, I got two, I'm trying to remember that, it was a while ago, but I got 2 lengths of it, and it was in the kind of reduced section, in a reduced, so if you go, this is my thing anyway. Oh God, it's weird talking down, let's bring it up. There we are. Yeah, if you go to your, whether it's your timber merchant, your DIY place, whatever it is, obviously you've got a list of your measurements. Whenever I've got a project on the go, I mean, I always have a notebook in my bag anyway, and if I've got a project on the go, you can guarantee that the back couple of pages of that notebook are filled with measurements of things I need, so that, like, if I am passing a skip and I see brand new MDF that's just been put out, so we've had no weather yet, stuff like, so I know it's clean, I can just go and skip dive it. And yeah, that's fab. So yeah, always have your measurements. But with the skirting section, whenever I go to the builders merchants, DIY shops, timber merchants, whatever it is, look in the reduced bins first, just in case, because so often we're looking for offcuts, aren't we? We're only looking for a small bit of something, or just to whatever it is, like a tiny bit of MDF. So yeah, check out the reduced bins, because the skirting I got 4, was it 4 3-metre lengths? I'm trying to remember now. 4 3-metre lengths it might have been. Yeah, because the bathroom is 4 metres, so that's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I would have needed slightly less than 12 metres. So I got 4 3-metre lengths, and they were reduced because they were ever so slightly, if you looked down the length of it, length, look down the length of it, it was slightly bowed, ever so slightly bowed. And because of that, it had been halved in price, something, I mean, it might even be a reduction that was less, brain isn't functioning, less than half price. Anyway, the point is, with my bathroom, there are, I don't know if it ever picks up on camera, but this wall that goes down towards the bath, it then kicks slightly to the left. So I was going to have to make a cut anyway in the skirting to just take into account that slight kick in the wall, and then and then obviously little odd bits left over for this. So what I'm trying to say is that slight bow in the skirting that I bought, it didn't show up at all. Now this bit, there's a bit more to it. So obviously you can see there's some cutouts there's a bit of pipe that needed to fit in there. And it didn't want to, so this one, it's literally just that. This one though, it didn't want to stand up and stay in place. So from the outside, that's what you see. But actually what's on the inside is, it's got a little bit of a foot to it. It is dusty, just a little bit of a foot there to stop it falling inwards. And then again, just when we get to this edge, you can see how it's shaped to take into account for the skirting that's coming through this way. And I've done that. Look, it was a simple, quick little job. Obviously then painted to match the tugger groove, so it needed to be primed because it's MDF. Primed and then painted to match the tugger groove. The bits of skirting, they're just screwed in from the back. Obviously painted to match the rest, because that is far neater to look at than it's going to be dusty. Look, that's not a particularly nice thing to like, if you imagine it, I'll be lying in the bath at the other end of the room. I look down to this end of the bathroom where I'm in the bath. I don't want to look at that, do I? So far nicer to look at that instead. I'm not going to put it all the way back in, but far nicer to look at that than that. Simple, easy, bit of MDF, bit of leftover skirting, and you might need a little foot to stop it falling backwards. Job's a good one. I need to blow my nose. Good grief, this nose. Oh, Gordon Bennett, I'm having a bit of a meltdown. And I've started on the paperwork, you know, all that paperwork I was showing you the other day. And I don't know if you can see over my shoulders, I've got papers all over the sofa, a box on the floor is my previous documents. I've got papers all over the bed, spread out all over the bed. I've come in here now though because it was asking me, I've got crossings out. It's asking me questions about the lease, and of course I've got my paper copy there, but of course that's the old one, so we renewed it. And I've only got it online, so I've brought it up on the computer. There are no changes to it other than extending it, the date at which it finishes. But anyway, so I'm kind of flitting between the sofa, the bed, the computer. These forms are so scary, aren't they? I'd forgotten how scary this kind of stuff is, because it's not so much like sort of legal speak. It's not that it's not clear. I understand the words, as in it's hard to explain. There are some things they're asking for and I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're asking for. And they're talking about, you know, there's things I actually can't provide. So bills for the annual service charge. Well, we don't bill ourselves. We just put the money in the account. So I don't know, maybe a copy of the bank statement that the service charge is held in. But then also there's been quite a few bits where it's asking for paper stuff, and of course we're so much a paperless society now, aren't we? So the very first hurdle, identifying myself, paper copies of bills which are within the last 3 months, I don't have any. I just don't have any. The only paper bills I get these days are my council tax and my water rates, and both those bills come in March. That's more than 3 months ago. Likewise, bank statements. I can't provide a bank statement. It's all done online. I don't have a printer. So I think what I might have to do, I've got one of those, you know, those little, I call them lipsticks. It's the thing you put in the side of the computer, you know, the stick thing. What I might have to do is open up, say, one of my bills, my most recent bill, do a screenshot of it. Is that the right word? Screenshot. I always want to say screen grab. Screenshot of it. So get a load of screenshots together, then put them onto my lipstick, and then take my lipstick to, we've got a Snappy Snaps, and I think they do printing from lipsticks. But yeah, honestly, I've been at it an hour so far. I'm still waiting for the plumber. The plumber's due any minute now, but the window is an hour and a half, so it could be still an hour and a half away. There's no rush for that. And I had decided, because it was going to be one of those days where I'm waiting in for someone, I thought, right, let's get on with it. I was going to be doing some cooking. I've still got my apron on. I started getting bits ready to do some batch cooking at the same time. I'm just in my apron doing my paperwork. Anyway, I thought, that's a good idea. I'm waiting in anyway. Let's start in this paperwork. So yeah, I've been doing it for about an hour so far, and so far I'm on page 9 of the 32 page form, and I've done one of the shorter forms. That other one was easier. I feel like I'm sitting my O-level maths again. Oh, good grief. Oh, look, I'm not having a pity party, it's not that, but by God, it's giving me a headache. I don't know if I'm doing the right, I don't know if I'm giving the right answers, and I don't want to do something wrong that is then going to delay the process. Oh, it's horrible. This is one of those times in life when I think, you know what, yeah, I kind of wish I did have a partner, and I'd say to him or her, listen, I tell you what, can you do all the paperwork? I'll give you 50 quid if you do all the paperwork, or you do all the paperwork and I'll do all the cooking for a month. Anyway, I hope, it's like the deeds, they're asking me for the deeds, and I suddenly thought, oh, that's what, that box on the floor that you can see just there, that's all my paperwork from, that's a mix of paperwork, but it's the kind of paperwork you need to hold on to. So for example, it's the big bundle of stuff from the solicitor when I moved in here. So I looked through that, no deeds, and it says if you don't have the deeds, can you give us permission to get them? Yeah, I'll give you permission. Where are your deeds held? So I can give them permission to get my deeds, except I don't know who's got the deeds. I don't know where the deeds are. I mean, that's pretty much 101, isn't it, with owning a house. It's just never occurred to me that I needed to have in my hand a copy of the deeds to my flat. So I don't know, is that gonna unstick me? Just passed a section called common hold, haven't filled anything in. I've never heard of common hold. I don't think that applies to me. I think it's leasehold rather than common hold. Never even heard of it. Anyway, good grief. I'll just keep sucking on my strepsils and ploughing through these papers. This is the first pack as well. I think this is the wad of paperwork I'm doing now is all to do with me selling this place. The next bundle of paperwork is all to do with me buying my next flat. So I'm hoping that bundle of paperwork is quite a bit thinner, and presumably it will be easier to fill in because it's not going to be asking me awkward questions about that property because I don't know that property. It's not my property. Anyway, oh, right, hopefully the plumber will get here soon and at least I can tick one job off today, and yeah, I can't believe it. I literally, yeah, it's a little over an hour since I started. Right, I'm going to crack on, hopefully catch up with you later, and I might even take my pinny off, or I might do some cooking, who knows. I'll catch up with you in a bit, hopefully. Woohoo! I've got 2 taps again. Oh my goodness, look, hot water at the turn of a tap. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it's been 4 or 5 months without a hot tap there, for goodness sakes. My little bits of, oh sorry, the loo's open. They've just used it. The little bits of, my boxing is over there. I'll put those back on in a second. First of all, let's have a sit and a catch up. Crikey, what a bananas morning and afternoon. Time. So that's great. There are 2 taps in the bathroom again. What I loved, they came right towards the end of that possible appointment time. That's fine. And it was well under an hour. It was fine. That's fine too. But what I was chuffed about is the plumber came with a young lass who she's just doing some work experience with them at the moment to see if she likes it, because she's thinking about doing an apprenticeship as a plumber. I said to her, yeah, do it, because the thing is, there are so few women in general in all these different trades, and I know I'd love to book a woman plumber. Just, I don't know, just keeping with the sisterhood. But anyway, yeah, so I was thoroughly delighted. It's like I said to her, at some point, I think almost everybody at some point in their life calls a plumber, even if it's once in your whole life, like me. Yes, that's good. And then what's kind of daft, I walked them down because I have to lock people out, letting them out, saying hi, bye, cheers, thank you. Then bumped into my estate agent. He was just there. So we got chatting, and he's just finding out how it's all going as well with the other place, and etc, etc. And then I mentioned to him, because it was him that had mentioned to me that book Wintering. So yeah, I mentioned to him that I'd had a copy sent to me. Yay! So lovely. So good grief, I have spent so far 4 hours on this paperwork and documentation that's needed. I've made a list here of things which I can't physically send to the not agent, solicitors. This is solicitors now. Things I can't physically send. I don't have physical copies of things, so I'm going to go into the computer now, and I've got some things I do already have scanned, but as I was mentioning before, I'm going to do some screenshots, and hopefully that will suffice. I mean, it will have to suffice. I physically don't have things. So I've made quite a long list of all those things, so I can go through really carefully and just make sure, yes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I've got 17 items I need to scan or do something about in order to send them. So that'll be my next job, and then I think, oh God, do I start on that next pack of paperwork? That's for the buying of the next property. I don't know. It's all. The good thing is my nose over the course of the day has unbunged. It's considerably less. I'm considerably less nasal, as you can hear as I'm speaking. So that's good. I don't know if I'm a bit just wired from the paperwork, but what I think I might do. Yeah, I'm going to try and get it all done today, and then. Do you remember when I did my weekly shop and I bought myself that bottle of wine as a little treat? Not to celebrate too much. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves with celebrating, but I haven't opened it yet. So I think if I can get all this paperwork done today, all the scans, all the emailing and all that, I think I'll have just have a glass of wine by this evening. So yeah, that's what I think I'll do. Right, I think this was a quickie. Was it a quickie? I haven't really kept track of time in terms of my time with you guys, but yeah, life goes on, things progress. This never-ending feels like there are this never-ending list of jobs to do, which are, to do with the flat and stuff, or life, just life in general, rather than getting on with work. But at least I've kind of done a little bit of work today by sharing some of it with you. Right, I'm going to go and put the boxing back around my hand basin. I need to pop out. Yeah, I'm going to take half an hour off right now and do nothing. Just let my brain cool down. It's like, how our computers have fans in them, don't they, to keep the motherboard cool. My motherboard needs cooling down. Right, all right, lovelies, I'll catch up with you again anon. And hopefully, I was just about to sniff, sorry, I just did sniff. Hopefully, the next time I see you, this might have gone completely and I'll be, yay, all bouncy again, hopefully. Until then, please look after yourselves, and good luck to any of you who are knee-deep in paperwork too. It's horrible, isn't it? It really is like sitting 5 papers of O-level maths, one after the other. You know what? I would prefer to sit an O-level maths exam right now than do all this stuff. That's how much I don't like it. All right, gorgeosities. See you soon. Cheerio.